The national statistics, which shown us just now, that the suicide rate in middle-aged men is really, really high. Very high, in fact, and it's even higher, it's significantly higher for men who work in the construction industry. So it's something as a business we take really seriously indeed.
People feel that it's a weakness if they talk about mental health issues, and for men in particular there is still a stigma. They don't want to feel weak or lacking in the sort of macho spirit by admitting that they've got an issue that needs to be dealt with. So although there is still a stigma, particularly with men who find it more difficult to talk about it, the stigma I think is declining, and the more we can open things up and talk about it, and the more public figures can do that, as they have very helpfully recently, the less that stigma will be.
When people are dealing especially with poor mental health, the changes in them can be quick and intense, or it can be gradual and slow. And I think that's what makes mental health such a complex subject, because the issues that somebody's maybe dealing with or struggling with there's a variety of different reasons. There's an infinite number of reasons as to why somebody would be struggling with their mental health. It may be a massive issue that comes on quickly and is a direct reaction to something that's happening in the moment, or it can be a build-up of several different things. It's completely unique, person to person, situation to situation, and again, it might not always be related to work, but it could be a combination of work and also their personal life. It's such a complex area, which makes it a really difficult one to deal with.
I didn't realise that I was struggling until one day that things seemed to break, and I'd send out emails in the morning, and the contracts manager came in the office as my phone was taken through the office floor, and I didn't know if it was kind of wrong. I got myself so worked up, didn't know if it was wrong. So he asked me to just go and have a walk for half an hour, come back and see him. Came back and seen him after half an hour after I walked around the site. And I said to my boss, I'll be back on Monday, I'll be fine. And then I was signed up for 7 months. I felt that couldn't get myself going in the morning. I'm used to being up and away in the mornings. Some days when I was off, I couldn't get up. I just didn't want to get up. It was weird because I've always been brought up to just get on with it, and didn't really understand mental health until the journey I've been through. I've kind of understood it a lot better.
Recognising that people are struggling is hugely important, especially within the construction environment. You can see on a day-to-day basis that people are under a lot of pressure. It's not about probing when people don't want to be probed. It's about listening actively, looking actively to see if people's body language is changing, if their demeanour's changing, just if anything's changing, and just having an active interest in how their general well-being is.
So it's a change of behaviour, a change from the real them, that lets us think for a moment or two, they're not quite as they were. I wonder what it is that might be going on. And I think that then you have to try and choose whether by very gentle approaches you can open up the idea that if they wanted to, and there was something going on, and they wanted somebody to talk to, maybe that would be a sensible way. Because in Samaritans, one of our central messages is that talking helps. If you can talk about your troubles, then that shares the burden and things begin to get better.
I think there is still a stigma around about mental ill health in our industry and in society as a whole. I think society has went on a really positive journey with mental health over the past decade. But as long as there is somebody who feels that they can't speak up because of nervousness, embarrassment, then that's one person too many, and the stigma is still there. And again, continuing to be open about it, continuing to be loud about the support that we offer our people in Cala, things like that. I think that will help drive that stigma away, and then more people can get the help that they need.
The support that Cala's put on them over the last couple of years has been pretty good. We've all went through mental health first aid training, so it was a 2-day course, and we've, all the site teams have went through it, and there's posters reflecting that around about the site offices and site canteens. And there's posters specific numbers and people to phone from in Cala North, because that's where we work. So yeah, there's every site have options now of anyone who feels that they need to speak.
You know, if you're suffering with struggles around about your job, then you need to try and take control of that if you can. There are so many different ways that Cala in particular can help. You've got the mental health first aid scheme. There's a lot of resources available in terms of webinars and guest speakers that have been going on recently, and it's really encouraging within Cala that we're taking that sort of stuff seriously. And again, I would urge us all to take part in that and continue to push Cala to be an inclusive and a supportive company.
It's great to see the change in a lot of the people, and it's when I walk around the developments, I've actually had people coming up to me and asking for advice and where they're going to speak to. So people are stepping forward, we are breaking that stigma down.
Since becoming a mental health first aider, I have had guys on site come up to me and talk to me in confidence, and having the tools that the course provided me with allowed me to listen and be able to help as best that I can. I can't diagnose what's going on in someone's life, but to be able to listen and help and point in the right direction is something that I'm greatly appreciative of, that I've been on the course, and I can help people as best that I can.
Very often you can help a little bit by being kind to yourself, in essence, doing the things that you enjoy doing, taking yourself away from the pressure situation, trying to find a space where the pressure doesn't apply. So there are things you can do, but very often these are just short-term fixes, or they don't really handle an issue which is still going to be there when you come back again. And so then we get to the point where finding someone you can trust to talk to is going to be so important, and that's where the work of the Samaritans begins to come in.
Forcing people to talk is one of the worst things you can do, because people will talk when they want to talk, people will talk when they're ready to talk, and it's just letting people know that we are there. There is support within the industry, there is support from the site teams, there is wider support from charities and organisations, and the help is there if it's needed.
My advice for anyone who's struggling for mental health is just seek out advice. Pick up the phone and phone the Samaritans if you've no one else to speak to. But there's a lot of mental health first aiders that go about all our developments in our offices. Just seek that help. The bravest person alive seeks the help, you know. So we care about our staff, we care about our employees. Nobody should sit in silence and suffer. Just go and speak to someone.
24 hours a day, any day of the year, you can pick up the telephone, a free phone, and you can phone Samaritans, and there will be somebody on the end of the telephone for you. So Samaritans is always available, and there is no problem at all, therefore, with getting help whenever you actually need it. And we don't mind people ringing Samaritans more than once, as many times as they want, as long as they genuinely need the help. We would like them to come to us.
There is no end point in this, and it needs to be front and centre when thinking about our people as to how we continue to support them. Society will change, and that will mean that things that people are potentially struggling with will change. And I think, given some of the really well-documented statistics around about our industry, suicide rates are tragically high in our industry. we cannot afford to think that the job is done. We've got to keep doing more.